Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know how this works. You send us these fascinating things you find online, and we take a closer look.
That's right, a deep dive.
Exactly. And today's material, well, it's all about this really heartwarming encounter that almost seems too good to be true.
Yeah, it's got that viral feel-good story vibe to it.
For sure. You guys sent us a whole bunch of internet stuff, social media posts and blog entries, even something that looks like online fiction. And it's all about this chance meeting between Keanu
Oh,
Reeves.
wow, the Keanu Reeves.
Yep,
Yeah.
the one and only. And this single mom named Elena, who was going through some really, really rough times.
I mean, it's the kind of story that just spreads online because it tugs at your heartstrings,
Yeah.
But like with anything we see online, it's always a good idea to take a closer look.
Couldn't agree more. So let's dive in. The basic story as we've pieced it together goes like this. Elena's working the night shift at a gas station, pregnant with two little ones in tow, because childcare, yeah, that's not an option. And then in walks Keanu Reeves, just your average guy stopping for gas.
Well, except that he's a global superstar, right? Which kind of adds to the whole intrigue of the story.
Totally. And he doesn't just like throw some money at her and call it a day. He starts bringing her groceries and even helps out with her rent. Talk about going above and beyond.
But what's really interesting is how his actions seem to shift from that initial immediate support into something more long-term. Like he realized that a one-time handout wouldn't actually fix the underlying issues.
Okay, hold on, because this is where things get really interesting. He enrolls Elena in this culinary training program, which was like her lifelong dream. And he even sets up childcare for her kids while she's learning. And this is almost too good to be true.
He helps her open her own restaurant.
You guessed it, Elena's Kitchen. It's like something out of a movie, right?
Straight out of Hollywood.
Right. But of course, we're not going to take this story at face value. We have to look at the sources critically. Is it all true?
Yeah.
And even if it is, what are the bigger implications?
Definitely. It makes you think about things like privilege and access to resources and the realities of social mobility. I mean, how many struggling single parents out there could realistically expect a Hollywood A-lister to just swoop in and change their lives?
All right, so let's break this down chronologically. We know Elena always dreamed of being a chef, but life, as we all know, doesn't always go according to plan.
Hmm.
A young marriage kids, and suddenly she finds herself raising them alone.
It's sadly a situation that's way too common, and her story really highlights the huge challenges that so many single parents face, especially those dealing with poverty.
Absolutely. She's working nights at a gas station, bringing her kids along because she just has no other choice. It's a scenario that probably resonates with a lot of people, even if they haven't experienced it themselves.
And that's exactly why the story is so powerful. It takes this widespread issue, something that might feel abstract or distant, and makes it personal, relatable.
Okay, so Keanu enters the picture. And what's really striking is that it's not just about the financial help, right? He genuinely seems invested in Elena's well-being, even her happiness.
Yeah, there's this sense of human connection that goes way beyond the usual celebrity-fan interaction. It suggests that even with fame and fortune, genuine empathy and compassion can still exist.
But we can't forget we're dealing with internet content here, which can be, well, let's just say creatively edited at times. It's possible that some details were exaggerated or embellished for clicks and shares.
For sure. We have to keep that in mind, especially when a story seems almost too perfect. But even if certain parts have been embellished, the core elements still raise important questions about how we can support those in need, both individually and as a society.
Exactly. So let's dig deeper. I was really struck by how Keanu seemed to focus on empowering Elena rather than just giving handouts. Did you notice that too?
Oh, absolutely. The culinary training, the childcare arrangements, even the scholarship fund we'll talk about later, those aren't temporary fixes. They're investments in her future. It's a much more thoughtful and sustainable approach to philanthropy.
I think that's a key takeaway for our listener. If you're interested in social entrepreneurship or just want to understand how to create lasting change, Elena's story is a really compelling example.
It also highlights how important education and access to resources are. Elena clearly had the talent and the drive. What she needed was the opportunity to develop those skills and build a sustainable life for herself.
And that opportunity came in a pretty unexpected way from Keanu Reeves, of all people. It's like a modern-day fairy tale.
It really does have that magical element to it. But, fairy tales often have a grain of truth. Even if some details are embellished, the story speaks to the power of human connection and how individual actions can actually make a difference.
Okay, so we've covered Elena's background, her initial meeting with Keanu, and his early acts of generosity. But this is just the beginning, right? Our sources describe the grand opening of Elena's Kitchen, the impact it had on the community. And then there's the scholarship fund Keanu sets up in her name. This is where things get really interesting. So Elena's Kitchen is officially open for business. This isn't just about one woman's success, though, right? It's about the impact on the whole community. What did our sources say about that?
Well, they describe it as more than just a restaurant. It's like a community hub, a place where people can gather and connect and share meals. And the food. Apparently, it's incredible.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. What about Keanu? Does he just disappear after the grand opening, or does he stay involved?
It seems like he's a regular there, not just some distant benefactor, but someone who actually enjoys being part of it.
I love that. So it's not just about the money. It's about being a presence, a part of the community that he helped to create.
Did the sources mention any specific examples? Yeah, there are descriptions of him bringing gifts for Elena's kids, stopping by to eat, chatting with customers. It really reinforces that idea of genuine connection we talked about earlier.
Okay, but there's one more piece of this puzzle we need to talk about, the scholarship fund. It sounds like Keanu took Elena's story and turned it into something even bigger, something that could help tons of other people facing similar challenges.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example of what you might call paying it forward. He doesn't just address Elena's needs, he creates this system for lasting change.
Do our sources say how the scholarship fund actually works? Like who benefits from it?
It seems to be aimed at single parents who are going for vocational training, especially in culinary arts. It covers tuition, provides childcare support, and even offers mentorship. It's like this whole support system designed to help people break out of poverty and achieve their dreams.
That's amazing. So it sounds like Elena's Kitchen wasn't just a success for her personally, but it had this ripple effect on the whole community. And the scholarship fund just amplifies that impact, creating opportunities for so many others.
Yeah.
Did our sources mention any specific events or milestones related to the cafe and the scholarship fund?
Yes, actually. There's this description of a big anniversary celebration at Elena's Kitchen a year after it opened. It's also a celebration of the scholarship fund's first recipients. They actually invited them to the event and had them share their stories.
Oh, wow. That's a fantastic way to bring the community together and show the impact of the scholarship fund. It's like a tangible reminder of the positive change that can happen when people support each other.
Yeah.
What was the atmosphere like at this event?
Well, it's described as incredibly heartwarming. There's music, food, laughter, a real sense of joy and community spirit. People are celebrating Elena, the scholarship recipients, and all the positive changes that have happened.
That sounds truly magical. It's almost like this story has taken on a life of its own, evolving from this chance meeting at a gas station into a full-blown community celebration.
It definitely speaks to the idea that even small acts of kindness can have these huge consequences, creating ripple effects that we might not even imagine.
Okay, but there's one perspective we haven't really explored yet. Elena, I mean, imagine going through all of this. The struggle, the unexpected, help, the success, the impact on your community. What an emotional roller coaster. Did the sources offer any insights into her feelings and experiences throughout all of this? So we were talking about this big anniversary thing in Elena's Kitchen, right? A year after it opened, the scholarship fund's going strong and everyone's there to celebrate. It's a celebration of Elena's success, the cafe's impact, and the scholarship recipients whose lives are changing because of it all. What was it like there?
Oh, it's described as this joyous, almost magical night. Live music, delicious food, this palpable sense of community pride, people sharing stories, laughing, dancing, a real celebration of Elena's journey and the good she's brought to so many.
Okay, now tell me about Keanu's speech.
Yeah.
What did he say? What was the message?
Well, he talks about hope and resilience and how Elena went from the struggling single mom to a successful business owner and community leader. He even mentions how inspired he is by her and how he hopes her story will inspire others to believe in second chances. It's really about how anyone can overcome challenges and reach their dreams with the right support and self-belief.
You know, that's what gets me. It's one thing for a celebrity to just write a check or donate, but it's a whole other level to be so personally invested in someone's success. Standing up there and talking about how much someone's journey has touched you, that's powerful stuff.
Absolutely. And Keanu goes on to say that one of the most rewarding things he's seen is Elena turning struggle into success, not just for herself, but for her kids and the whole community. He talks about the cafe being the central gathering place, a symbol of hope and possibility for everyone who walks in.
Wow, that's really something. It speaks to how kindness and compassion can have this ripple effect, like throwing a pebble in a pond and watching the waves spread out, touching everything.
Exactly. And he ends his speech with a toast. To many more years of Elena's Kitchen, and to every dreamer who steps through these doors, it's this beautiful sentiment, a message of hope that goes way beyond that one night.
So picture this. Elena's there with her kids, her friends, her community. This guy who basically changed her life is standing there praising her. I mean, come on, that's movie material. It must have been so emotional for her.
The sources describe Elena as just overwhelmed with emotion, this deep sense of gratitude and accomplishment. She looks at her kids who are thriving and happy, and at her friends and colleagues and the community she helped build, and she realizes that her journey has been about so much more than just overcoming hardship.
It's about creating a legacy, right? One that goes way beyond her own success.
Exactly. Elena's Kitchen is this legacy of hope, resilience, and second chances. It lives on not just in the cafe itself, but in the scholarship fund and all the lives touched by Elena's story. It's a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected encounters can lead to the most amazing transformations.
So we've gone through the story, looked at the sources, analyzed the details, maybe even got a bit emotional along the way. What does it all mean for our listener, the person who sent us all this internet content? What can they take away from this deep dive?
That's a great question. I think there are a few key takeaways. First, it reminds us that even in a world that can feel kind of cynical, there are still these incredible stories of human kindness and compassion. And second, it highlights the power of individual action. We don't have to be rich and famous to make a difference. Even small acts of kindness can have this huge impact beyond our immediate circle. And finally, Elena's story reminds us that we all have the potential to overcome challenges and achieve our dreams sometimes with help from unexpected places.
That's beautifully said. It's a reminder that hope, resilience, and human connection can truly change lives. So to our listener, the one who sent us down this rabbit hole, thank you. Thank you for sharing this story and reminding us that sometimes the most heartwarming stories are the ones that make us look deeper and see the incredible potential we all have.
And if this deep dive has sparked something in you, if you're left with a question or want to learn more, don't stop here. Keep exploring. Research local organizations, volunteer your time, or just reach out to someone who inspires you. You never know where that spark of curiosity might lead.
And on that note, until next time, keep diving deep, keep those amazing sources coming, and keep believing in the power of human connection.
Ah.
Thanks for joining us.